AITA for prioritizing my parrot over my stepdaughter's wedding? So I'm the owner of a wonderful rescued macaw. She is a wonderful bird but has a lot of issues due to an abusive former home. I've had her for 3 years and since then haven't taken any vacations or trips away as it would be too disruptive for her. She distrusts everyone and is very reliant on her routine. I love her deeply and I'm happy to make sacrifices for her. They are permanent toddlers and very intelligent birds. I met my husband by the time his kids were older. My stepdaughter was 16 at the time. We married when she moved away for college. Nevertheless, I thought we'd manage to have a decent relationship. Until now. My stepdaughter is getting married in March. And naturally there's a lot of preparation involved. They're wanting a huge traditional wedding and she is stressed out of her mind. They live out of state. And she invited me recently to come visit her for a week to help make wedding plans and spend time with their 2-year-old. I declined and she insisted to know why, acting very hurt. And I explained the parrot. Well, JT all went downhill from there. She caused a massive fuss with her dad, saying she never got a mother figure and I never accepted her as my full-blood daughter and this is the ultimate snub for a silly animal. That I'm cold and emotionless. I feel really hurt and I can tell he agrees with her even though he's refusing to take sides. But I don't see why I should be expected to take holiday time off work to babysit and bond, all of a sudden, and I don't see how I'm a monster for this. Am I the asshole here? Edit. Context of our relationship. We don't usually talk at all and she hasn't visited home in 4 years. Edit 2. Beginning to think it was maybe a mistake posting this. Mostly because this is a real and nuanced situation and Reddit is no place for nuance. And maybe personal relationships shouldn't be judged in the context in the first place. But also because I should be more understanding and a bigger person regardless of who is or isn't the asshole. Life is too short to be butthurt and offended. I called my stepdaughter and told her that I understand this is a big moment in her life and she wants someone there to help and support her. And that I'm still willing to help her in any way I can to plan the wedding via Zoom and virtually. We talked a bit and I asked her why she hadn't accepted me reaching out in the past and she apologized and said she didn't want to accept someone as a stand-in fake replacement for her bio mom. But now she regrets it and would like a closer relationship. Especially seeing how close her so is with his mom. We ended the conversation positively and I'm hoping things can improve going forward. I told her I'm a crazy bird lady and asked her if she still wants a relationship knowing that, and she said that after the wedding she's willing to travel to visit us if we have room. Which we do. I'll leave this post up but I'm happy either way and I'm glad the feedback here motivated me to make the call. Question. Are you literally never going to leave the bird ever again? If so, that is not healthy. Info. How are you going to attend an out-of-state wedding in March? If you can't leave the state in January, it's going to be a multi-day trip. Unless you know parrots in general, and how people finicky they can be, especially abused ones. This isn't an animal you can simply drop off at a pet sitter. Op could lose the previously abused bird's trust if the bird thinks Op had abandoned them. Same time, you are already associating bonding as being a free babysitter. Also, a last-minute one at that. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Just sounded a little callous. But then again, you are not obligated to be her babysitter. NTA. I'd normally say you were an asshole for putting a bird before family. But you've made it clear she's been pretty distant with you. The thing about relationships, all relationships, is they require effort and attention. Just because you're related, by blood or law, doesn't mean someone is entitled to your presence. Especially if the relationship isn't exactly a good one. You aren't the asshole. I assume if your relationship were better, you'd make more of an effort. You're still going. So it isn't like you're skipping the wedding. NTA. I don't blame you. Edit. Also, my sister has twins and more often than not, spending time with the kids means babysitting them. This doesn't sound like a vacation, but a desire to put you to work. NTA. Macaws and parrots are not just birds, like budgies where you can ask a pet sitter to feed and water them all week. Macaws are like gifted children who scream and can rip your fingers off. They are an 80-year commitment and often only bond to a single person. Birds in general are extremely sensitive to any environmental changes, so someone who doesn't know what they are doing can hurt or even kill the macaw. Shame on everyone for choosing an animal over family, like it's a bad thing. The macaw seems more like family than her stepdaughter. If it was that big of a deal, then stepdaughter would help make accommodations rather than just want a babysitter. You are still going to the wedding, however, correct? You didn't decline attending the wedding, did you? I'm assuming that it's just the extended time away from the bird for a full week that you cannot do. But you can manage to miss a few days for the wedding. If that is the case, then you are not an a-hole. But if you are missing the week of preparation and the wedding because of your pet, this makes you an a-hole. If my assumption is correct and you are not an a-hole, and your stepdaughter is only now seeking your involvement due to needing a babysitter, and in the past has not involved you in things, and so this ask feels out of character, then you not being available is permissible and the why doesn't matter. It could have been that you didn't have the vacation days to spare with the wedding and other future plans. Her claiming you are putting an animal ahead of her is no worse than her using you for babysitting, under the pretense of bonding. So your stepdaughter was pregnant and then had a baby during COVID and you expected her to travel with them to visit you? You rescued a bird when she got pregnant or soon after and focused fully on that, so also by your own choice you did not travel to see your grandchild. NTA for caring about your bird, but definitely a hypocrite, and I hope your husband at least chooses to show up for the girl who is clearly struggling with a small child and wedding planning. Why else would she have reached out to ask for your help if you are on as terrible terms as you make it out to be? NTA. Based on your update, I totally get this situation and didn't like her dismissing the animal as unimportant. But it sounds like the two of you have made a positive connection through this and become a little closer. Good work. NTA. Because it sounds like she was trying to get free childcare and labor out of you rather than wanting bonding time. Your title made it sound like you'd be missing the wedding. You definitely need to go to the wedding, because at that point you're taking it too far, putting the bird over family. Maybe offer if there's anything you can do to help prepare from home, if that's something you want to do. ETA. If you are going to make sure to make it to the wedding, you need to clarify that in the post, because I think a lot of people are reading this as you saying you won't be going to the wedding. If you had no parrot, would you have said yes? If not, then the bird has nothing to do with it. If you don't want to go for a week, that's fine, but just say so. It doesn't sound like you all have much of a close relationship to begin with. On the flip side, if she really only wanted you to come to babysit, she should have also been honest about that as well. Info. You kind of contradict yourself as to your motives. You declined to go because of the bird, but then you bemoan that you would have to take time off in order to babysit and bond. Those are very different reasons. If someone you were close to was having a wedding out of state, would you made accommodations for the bird and attend the weddings? If you didn't have the bird, would you agree to taking the time off for your stepdaughter's wedding? Are you not going solely because you have to take care of the bird? Or is your relationship with your stepdaughter also factoring into your decision? NTA. You shouldn't be expected to put your life aside for somebody who hasn't even visited in 4 years. Now that she needs help, she chooses to pull this guilt trip over her needing a mother figure? No. Stay with your baby bird who is devoted to you. Fuck that. NTA. You took responsibility of owning very demanding pet. Your stepdaughter know about it since you have the parrot for 3 years. And if she is considering you being mother figure, I assume she is interested in your life enough to know your limitations. Or does your relationship go only one way and she assumes she will be always on receiving end? NTA. You don't usually talk. She hasn't visited you in 4 years. But now she wants something from you. So she expects you to drop everything and come stay with her for a week. And she's throwing a tantrum because you won't. She's not you. Nah, because I understand both sides. People will never grasp that animals, like humans, can and do have different needs, and I understand how hard it is with abused animals. Your parrot can't just be cared for by anybody. On top of that, stressing yourself and him out for a stepdaughter that, up until this point, has wanted no relationship with you. I wouldn't either. On that same token, your stepdaughter doesn't understand that, and that's fair. It's totally understandable for her to be so upset. I was leaning to a nah judgment, but then I read your edit and comments on how the stepdaughter has only spoken to you 5 times in 4 years, and that's been through your husband. The bird is a factor, but overall, your stepdaughter is probably looking to use you as free childcare and is now trying to guilt you into coming for the week by moaning on how she needs a mother now more than ever to your husband. You have tried to maintain a relationship with her from what your comments say while she's given you the bare minimum. My judgment is NTA. Tell your husband that the bird isn't the issue. It's his daughter suddenly wanting a relationship, which seems to only be to use you as a babysitter. She doesn't need to pay. Wow. All you people who are saying that op is the AH. She met stepdaughter's dad when the girl was 16, not 6. Then the stepdaughter went to college 23 years later. How much bonding do you think they did? Y'all keep saying op is the only mother figure she had. While we don't really know about the girl's actual mother, it's more likely that the girl thinks of op as dad's wife and not my mom. How many of you would leave their precious fur baby, who has separation anxiety, in order to drop things for a week to help provide free childcare to someone? Some Redditors be crazy. Op. You are NTA. Your bird has suffered neglect for 15 years. And if it doesn't trust anyone else, I also wouldn't leave it to stress and starve. I actually agree with both sides, but you need to sit down and decide what your stepdaughter is to you. Do you want her to call you grandma? Do you want to be around your grandkids? Do you want her in your life? I don't agree with dropping everything for a week, but what's preventing you from doing Zoom calls and being apart online? From what you wrote, you aren't even trying to be involved. That's okay. It's your choice. But it will change your relationship with your husband, stepkid and grandchild. Is it worth that? 'Cause those are humans that will support you till you die. Your parrot, while extremely important, will not give you a life outside their cage. I'm gonna say nah as long as you figure out what you want for the future and set clear and appropriate boundaries. Nah, I can understand both sides. Maybe your stepdaughter thought wedding preps were a great way to bond with you, albeit your relationship seems politely distanced aside from that. At the same time, I'm an animal person. I've cared for animals. I've had pets. And I get it. I just get that you don't want to leave the bird alone. Throwing away 3 years of progress would feel horrible. At the same time though, maybe try to find people, women, who are also accustomed to taking care of birds, so you have someone to take care of her if you have to go somewhere. Some things aren't voluntary. If you get into an accident, the bird is alone. If somebody else needs you to go somewhere urgently for a few days, you can't go. Picked up the phone for the win! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark!
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.